Thank you, everyone, and thank you to Low Carb Down Under for having me here today. My topic is nutrition science. How did we get here? How did we get to a place where those who consider the human evolutionary pathway and basic biochemistry that Gary described yesterday, where those who understand the health benefits of animal proteins and fats in our diet have become the minority voice of nutrition science? Whereas those who appear to ignore evolution and base nutrition science on the Garden of Eden diet, fruits, grains, nuts and seeds, a place where those who are intent on protecting and actively defending not only processed foods but sugar messaging, they're at the table making decisions about our health and writing the plant-based dietary guidelines. I watched Gary and many other low-carb advocates talk about science till they were blue in the face, talking about the health benefits of low-carbohydrate, healthy fat principles, a fad diet, according to the Dietitians Association of Australia, that lacks scientific evidence. But they love the new science behind breakfast, courtesy of the Australian Breakfast Cereal Manufacturing Forum, made up of 4 breakfast cereal companies: Freedom Foods, Nestle, Kellogg's and Sanitarium. Not only do they have to promote cereal for brekkie, but the DAA corporate partnership actually stipulates that the Dietitians Association of Australia uses its members to influence, protect and actively defend cereal, grains and even sugars messaging. Documents that call out low carb down under because cereal sales are down. Documents that specifically name Gary for active defence, and within weeks, the then CEO of the Dietitians Association of Australia wrote to the hospital where Gary was working and requested pretty much that they silence him. After she wrote a second time, the CEO of the hospital sent out an email saying, "Can we escalate this?" And the rest, as they say, is history. The DAA also happily promote vegan diets, which strictly omit entire food groups and are inadequate without supplementation. Concerningly, they only have 4 referenced papers on their vegetarian position paper, published in 2014 and updated in 2017. How concerning that the DAA gets its dietary advice from breakfast cereal companies owned and founded on Seventh-day Adventist Church ideology. All references are from Seventh-day Adventists and or employees of Sanitarium or Kellogg's, which also happens to be a breakfast cereal company founded by Seventh-day Adventists, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg and his brother. The 4th reference, a supplement in the Medical Journal of Australia, was paid for by Sanitarium and the Adventist Health Ministries. This is concerning, not only for their members who should be able to trust their accrediting and regulatory body to provide them with unbiased scientific research, but as the self-proclaimed peak body for nutrition, the DAA's blatant cherry-picking of data is very concerning for the general public. When Ellen G. White came to Australia in 1890 to set up the church, the Sydney Adventist Hospital and Sanitarium Health and Wellbeing, she wrote that health food business is to supply the people with food which will take the place of flesh meat and also milk and butter. The Seventh-day Adventist Church currently owns 20 processed food industries worldwide, producing in excess of 2,400 breakfast cereals, dairy substitutes, cereal coffees, and a wide range of meat alternatives from nuts, cereals, and soy. Life Health Foods, which is an arm of Sanitarium, reports here in Australia of reaping the benefits of an increasing number of people choosing a plant-based diet. Their anticipated 25% growth for the next financial year is purely driven by a rise in vegetarianism among millennials looking for world solutions. In 1863, Ellen G. White was told by God that meat was a toxic substance, as bad, if not worse, than tobacco or alcohol, a substance that defiled the body and stirred baser passions, leading men, women and children to the heinous act of self-vice. John Harvey Kellogg was just 12 years old when he went to work for the first family of the Adventist Church. He was given the task of typesetting Ellen G. White's book, An Appeal to Mothers, which spoke only of the responsibility of mothers deterring their children from masturbation. Such are just as surely self-murderers as though they pointed a pistol to their own breast and destroyed their life instantly, she said. Is it any wonder that when he became a doctor, John Harvey Kellogg tried everything to prevent intemperance and sinful masturbation? He invented bland breakfast cereals, nut and soy meat analogues, and he prescribed vegan diets, marketed as health food to curb sexual desires. Before I go any further, I would like to say I'm not anti-religion and nor am I anti-vegan. I'm pro-choice, especially when it comes to health. I respect those who choose to be vegetarian or vegan for cultural reasons, health concerns, ethical beliefs, and for their religious ideology. But my concern is that choice is being taken away from you and I by those creating and protecting the rule books, taken away from people who choose to follow low carbohydrate, healthy fat principles, keto, whatever shape that looks like, but people who include animal proteins and fats in their diet for their health. My personal disclosure is I support Gary, and I have since I was 16 years old. What I love about him is he goes to work every single day with the perspective of a patient, the spirit of an activist, and the heart of a healer, a modern-day Galileo who took on the medical regulators in Australia and he won. Not only is Gary now free to talk about the health benefits of LCHF, but the determination clearly implies that there's no harm going forward for any other health professional in Australia to also recommend LCHF. In 2014, when I started my research to clear Gary's name, I have to admit, discovering the influence of religious ideology shaping our dietary guidelines was totally unexpected. In fact, we didn't talk about my research for about 2 years. I simply started out questioning why the highest profile nutritionist in Southeast Asia Pacific region was called in as AHPRA's expert witness during Gary's 2.5-year Star Chamber investigation to decide if recommending people reduce sugar and processed foods was outside the scope of practice of an orthopaedic surgeon in northern Tasmania with a catchment area of about 120,000 people and 5,000 people following him on social media at that time. In his practice, he was seeing people with weight-related joint issues, metabolic disease, and the complications of diabetes every single week. I never expected AHPRA's expert witness to lead me to Sanitarium, a processed breakfast cereal company wholly owned by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and as such, as Gary mentioned yesterday, they pay no tax. Nor did I expect to find Coca-Cola and their deep pockets funding industry-friendly research and initiatives such as Exercise is Medicine, used to promote physical activity as the solution to obesity and non-communicable disease. I'd never even heard of lifestyle medicine before AHPRA's expert witness was listed as the patron and speaker for the Australasian Society of Lifestyle Medicine, a sister organisation to the global movement based on the temperance health reform message of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I know the British Society of Lifestyle Medicine and the Australasian Society of Lifestyle Medicine are challenged by my findings. This is not a personal attack on their societies, nor on any other for that matter, but I am surprised they deny any religious affiliation. I acknowledge the British Society as one of the few lifestyle medicine sister organisations that includes low-carb advocates as prominent speakers at some of their events, and the ASLM recently included some at their 2019 conference in New Zealand. But please don't think for a moment, just because low carb is being spoken about, the hashtag Meat Heals will be headlining one of their events anytime soon. lifestyle medicine will never use the hashtag meat heals because vegetarianism is embedded in the fundamental beliefs of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Christian Association of Lifestyle Medicine was formed in 2003. Sorry, I've got it linked as the American College there. The Christian Association, on the Loma Linda University campus in California, a Seventh-day Adventist-owned institution previously known as the College of Medical Evangelists. In 2004, the Christian Association of Lifestyle Medicine became the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. All 9 office bearers and directors were Seventh-day Adventists, and the organisations they aligned with were too. The 2004 American College of Lifestyle Medicine website lists resources which included slide presentations on cardiovascular disease and diabetes management, referencing Ellen G. White, the Bible, and the Adventist Health Reform message. Apparently, it was lifestyle medicine when Adam and Eve were given the vegan Garden of Eden diet with regular physical activity as described in Genesis. The title of the slides was Lifestyle Medicine, Evidence-Based Medicine for the 21st Century. The founders and key influencers in lifestyle medicine believe that God is the author of science, and therefore the Garden of Eden diet is evidence-based medicine. There was no role for evolution or hunter-gatherer in their ideas of evidence-based science. The Bible is not to be tested by men's ideas of science, because that would mean placing that which has been created above its creator. So, what if plant-based diets aren't necessarily about health as an end in themselves? According to the study titled Feeding Holy Bodies, co-authored by Ruben Sanchez-Sabat, he suggests that plant-based diets became just as much a means of feeding and nourishing the newly created Adventist Church's identity. In creating this new identity, Ellen G. White gave the Seventh-day Adventist Church legitimacy, allowing food and nutrition to become a medium to communicate values and ideas, a tool to open doors to evangelize, and a way to take the gospel to the people. The study offers a unique perspective into the role of the Adventist Church's founding mother, who received over 2,000 visions from God to help her morally and spiritually guide God's chosen people for 70 years. In preparing for translation, Ellen G. White wrote, "Among those who are waiting for the coming of the Lord, meat eating will eventually be done away with. Flesh will cease to form part of a diet. All of those connected with our health institutions, especially, should be educating themselves to subsist on fruits, grains, nuts and seeds and vegetables. Because if we, as Christian reformers, educate our own taste and bring our diet to God's plan, then we will exert an influence upon others in this matter, which will be very pleasing to God." Most key people within the American College of Lifestyle Medicine were, and still are, Seventh-day Adventists and or tied to Coca-Cola's Exercise is Medicine, or closely aligned with the Adventist Garden of Eden dietary message. This includes their directors, advisory board members, exam writers, past presidents, and the current president, Elder Dexter Sherney. Take, for example, the Lifestyle Medicine Board Review Manual that was written by Adventists John Kelly, founder of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and Jenny Shull, MD. Seventh-day Adventist Mark B. Johnson was actually the president of the American College of Preventive Medicine when he co-authored the Physician's Core Competencies in Lifestyle Medicine in 2010. Unsurprisingly, they've since been endorsed by the American College of Preventive Medicine, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and the AMA. I can assure you I'm not opposed to the concept of lifestyle medicine, and I honestly believe there are people who are truly invested in improving health outcomes within the movement. But I have serious concerns over the lack of transparency about the organisation and their corporate partnerships. When I listened to Dr. George Eads' presentation from Low Carb Down Under, Denver, on the EAT-Lancet report, I couldn't help but be drawn to the similarities between the concepts she was describing and the concerns I have with the Lifestyle Medicine Global Alliance. As Georgia explains, EAT-Lancet has a well-orchestrated rallying cry to adopt a dangerously deficient diet. It has a unified, appealing message with vast resources, powerful institutions and corporations behind it, a seemingly endless benevolent agenda which wards off criticism, novel partnerships, and interestingly, both share the same principal nutritionist. Let me explain. The International Board of Lifestyle Medicine is a well-orchestrated rallying cry to adopt a dangerously deficient diet. And just take a look at where they're conducting exams around the world as I speak. Lifestyle medicine has a unified, appealing message with vast resources, including its own journal. It has powerful institutions and corporations behind it. These are just some of the sponsors and partners of the US and the Australian societies. And it has a seemingly endless benevolent agenda which wards off criticism because it's focusing on nutrition, smoking cessation, environmental issues, heart disease, and of course, exercise is medicine. What is really interesting is the novel partnerships between Coca-Cola and lifestyle medicine that I've uncovered since Exercise is Medicine's Stephen Blair and Edward Phillips became advisory board members of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine in 2010. Coca-Cola's entire family of brands is acknowledged as a platinum sponsor for treating the cause. The Adventist CHIP Wellness Program is also acknowledged on the sponsor page. Despite recent claims on their website that the Complete Health Improvement Program, a wholly owned subsidiary of Sanitarium Health and Wellbeing Company, is not a mandate for vegan or vegetarian diets. This page, taken from the Facilitator Guide for CHIP in Church, CHIP in Community, CHIP in Healthcare, and CHIP in the Workplace, shows pretty clearly what the Adventist Church's position on diet is. We promote and advocate that less is more, with the ideal being none at all, if you want to avoid the worst possible health outcomes. Meat, dairy, eggs, processed food, alcohol, and caffeine. What's left? And can I just remind people that Gary was investigated by AHPRA for 2.5 years for advocating LCHF, reducing sugar and processed carbohydrates and eating fresh, seasonal and local foods. Who exactly is making the rulebook? CHIP facilitator training is offered at most of the lifestyle medicine events. Interestingly, the European Society of Lifestyle Medicine publicly acknowledged partnering with Coca-Cola's Exercise is Medicine and the Global Energy Balance Network in 2015, while under the umbrella of the Global Lifestyle Medicine Alliance. Was it a coincidence that the European Society of Lifestyle Medicine wiped absolutely everything off their website and rebranded itself a few months later, even adopting a new URL after the New York Times outed the Global Energy Balance Network as a front for Coca-Cola? There was certainly a shuffle of European Society of Lifestyle Medicine board members around this time. Interestingly, Walter Willett is the principal nutritionist on the EAT-Lancet report, and he's also been on the advisory board of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine since its founding in 2004. The official demonisation of saturated fat by the 1977 US McGovern Report and the subsequent dietary goals for the United States were heavily influenced by the Sugar Association via testimonials from Fred Stair, Mark Hegstead, both from the Harvard School of Public Health, exonerating sugar and blaming fat and cholesterol for heart disease. But were you aware that George McGovern and the Senate Select Committee were also swayed by the Seventh-day Adventist Church ideology? Nick Motton, the Senator McGovern's aide, is said to have been an Adventist and a vegetarian when he wrote the dietary goals for the United States in 1977. Senator George McGovern was a close friend of Nathan Pritikin's, and I'm sure we've all heard of the Pritikin diet. He was an adjunct professor at Loma Linda University who acknowledged reading Ellen G. White's writings in the 1940s and became a vocal advocate of low-fat, plant-based diets. Hans Deal, the founder of the Adventist CHIP program, was the Director of Education and Research at the Pritikin Longevity Centre from 1976. Hans Deal acknowledged that he's 100% vegan and his program is 100% vegan. But we take people where they are and move them progressively towards that goal. It certainly looks vegan to me. Health washing of the harms of sugar and instilling the fear of fat worked its way into medical curriculums in the 1980s, teaching generations of medical professionals to fear cholesterol, something that's so utterly vital to life that our bodies make it. Zoe Harcum summarises it beautifully. If you had no cholesterol in your body, you would have no cells, no bone structure, no muscles, no sex hormones, no reproductive system, no digestion, no brain function, no memory, no nerve endings, no movement, no human life. In the last 12 months, I've come to understand the goal of these two entities. A global medical curriculum to ensure every health professional writes energy balance prescriptions advising people to move more and eat less meat. The calories in, calories out model that Gary Taubes described to us yesterday. Not only does the LMed medical curriculum perpetuate the demonisation of saturated animal fats, but it's also intent on demonising animal proteins, especially red meat. It's already been introduced into Loma Linda, Harvard, South Greenville and Stanford universities in the US, providing a secular platform for the Adventist health reform principles and for more exposure for Coca-Cola's energy balance model. The Australasian Society of Lifestyle Medicine is very keen to see LMed in medical schools, registrar training and allied health courses in Australia and New Zealand. Imagine if the plant-based vegan Garden of Eden diet with a side of Coke becomes the next generation's medical education. We've seen what advocating low-fat and high-carbohydrate diets have done, and instead of improving health outcomes, we're faced with a tsunami of non-communicable disease. I believe it's time, not only for a separation of church and plate, but let's get the corporate interests off the table too. As Gary says, once you see the health benefits of LCHF principles, you can never unsee them. Please be noisy with me. Thank you.